Good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're at. This is your man, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, I got an interview. This is the second interview for this new month. I hope you're enjoying this this first week of June. I have here a lovely lady right here before me who is an IFBB Physique Pro. This is one Mrs. Aubrey Whitley, and she's been competing for quite some time. She just did a couple of shows. I think a show this year. She did the Pittsburgh Pro, and was there any show or just the Pittsburgh Pro?
I did Puerto Rico last year.
Puerto Rico last year, and you did that show with two ladies who have become acquainted with Miss Daphne Carter and Stacy Nunez, and they're both lovely ladies. So introduce yourself to the people and tell us your story. How you get into this such masculine sport where you're such a beautiful lady. And here's the thing about this, folks. She's from North Carolina, and the big question we'll ask her: are you North Carolina born and bred?
Yes.
Yes! Yes! I have had two interviews with ladies who live in North Carolina. Both of them are transplants, but it's great for me being a North Carolinian myself to interview someone, a true blood, born and raised Tar Heel in my backyard. Hooray!
Representing.
Yes, hooray! So, okay, tell us your story, how you got into this sport.
Sure. And really, I mean, this is a great area for it in North Carolina. I've noticed there's a pretty big movement here, I feel like, of bodybuilding. So really cool. But this is something that it's funny because when I was a kid, I was really into bodybuilding. I thought it was fascinating. And I would do these little poses, and I got some weights for a while, and I was getting my little biceps, and posing. And, I kind of got away from it for years. I grew up a little bit, went through my rebellious teen years, got into a little bit of trouble. I became a little bit of a wild child. So if I would have found this then, I think that would have been really helpful. But I think there's a reason why I didn't find it till later, that I didn't really get into it. So I had to go through a little bit of pain. I've been through addiction. I've been through just some stuff, and bodybuilding has been my way out of that. It's really been my way to sort of recreate myself. And I'm trying to think, this is funny. And this is probably the first time I've shared this, but my first time working out as an adult bodybuilding was actually in rehab. I found weights, and from that moment, there was just some sort of energy around it. And I thought, I really like this. And from that point on, I was going more and more and more. And all of a sudden I found myself in the gym for 3 hours and I didn't want to leave. I loved it. I loved the art of it. And especially when, the results start showing up, then you're getting into the art of it. You're actually shaping your body, and it's a piece of art. So for me, it's very spiritual. It's also, an outlet for me, and it's an art. And it's kind of flowed into more and more in my life. And now I get the honor of working with other women and getting to help other people on their bodybuilding journey, which is even more rewarding. But, when I first started this, it was funny because people would come up and say, do you compete? Do you do figure? They kept saying, and I was like, what is this figure that people keep talking about? So I did some Googling, and I looked at these women and I thought, maybe I should do this. I think I can hang. And so I went ahead and signed up for my first show, and I loved it. I loved the whole process, and I knew it was just the beginning. So within a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like people know about figure. Figure was an offshoot of fitness where you didn't have to do a lot of chicken sweat. You just gotta look at it's like bikini but with a little bit more muscle.
Right.
And it's been around for I think since the early 2000s. It was, it's I think it's like we just started out like I've been following bodybuilding for a long time. Like, I got into bodybuilding, like I said, my brother used to play football. He did the muscle mags, and just I just got into it just as a fan because I grew up in the 80s. The popular TV shows like He-Man and like that, and Thundercats and all the muscle guys. Yeah. And the women was just something different to see, especially you got to think women can have muscle, but y'all ladies do have muscle, and you got to think about it transition from bikini originally to people like Richard McLesh and Corey Everson, to the Linda Murrays and the Kim Zaveskis, to the Iris Kyles, Alina Papa, to Marjorie V. Martin, and also to Andrew Shaw. It's just one of the things. And as you said again, you're dealing with addiction, and some people find that what I find when I was doing a lot of stuff when I do start this content, how I would talk to some ladies, that weightlifting has been their therapy and sometimes even their church. And I know a lot of them went through a hard time when when the virus hit. A lot of gyms got closed down, and it was hard because they didn't have a place to go. Other than if you're lucky enough you can afford, you can have quit your own gym at home. But people like to go to the gym and meet people, get connections, and also they love the feeling of working out. Right here we got my man here, balls deep from Chi-Town. What up and salute. And he says to you, Aubrey, good afternoon, gorgeous. I think you got a fan. And Chicago in here,
Nice.
yeah. Well, those in Gato on deck, I don't know what he always drop that shit. I don't know what he's saying. Smash that like button. Yeah, smash the like button. And once also a question you want to ask you, she's natty. That's the question they asking. He's asking, you natty?
That's something that I talk about one-on-one. So tell him I'm very open and honest about that, but I don't answer that just,
because
out here. So
that's the thing about the sport of bodybuilding. A lot of people, it's depending on you're going to take the gear, you don't take the gear. It's just all up to the person.
Well, there's also too, what supplements do you consider natural, and what do you consider are we talking creatine, pre-workout, EAAs? Or are we talking about tests? Because I definitely don't run tests. So, but yeah, I keep it very healthy, and I never, how do I say this? I don't do anything that's going to cause me to transition or have long-term damage. I'll put it that way. Yeah. So I'm very safe. Yeah.
He says so secretive. A lady should have her secrets, sometimes.
No, I mean, it's kind of like asking my medical history,
Yeah. We don't have the HIPAA laws here. Now, I was doing, like I said, last month, if anybody follow my channel, I do a thing called comparison series where I compare different women in the sport. And I was all last month I was doing one dedicated to women who are mothers. And I happened upon her. I said, she's a mom. She has a kid. And, I said, okay, let me, try it. And then I reached out to her and she responded. She liked my content and we set up the interview. And the thing is about being a mom. How old were you when you first had your son?
I was 21.
Mm-hmm. And that's experience that, was it after your addiction or before, or was it right that?
It was sort of in the middle. I stopped using when I was pregnant and then picked back up a little bit, was off to the races. And my son is a big reason why I cleaned up, in my life. I realized how powerful addiction was after having my son. And I'm very upfront about that is, the only thing more powerful than my love for my son is addiction. And so I do take, my spiritual walk very seriously. And I take bodybuilding very seriously because it keeps my head on straight.
Yeah. And that's the thing about addictions is anything can be addictive, from drugs to sex to money to just food. Like I can tell you right now, food is kind of my addiction too. And it's just the thing is to fight it because you know what? Sometimes I'm gonna be quoting a lot of movies here because I'm a big movie fan. The movie New Jack City with Chris Rock, where he's Pookie, be calling my name. That's the same thing with me and certain kind of food. I'm trying to cut back my sweets, but yesterday my aunt had a birthday and she had a cake and and she had ice cream cake and I said I couldn't help it. It was calling me, man. It was calling me.
And you're not the only one.
It be calling you, man. It just be calling you. And the thing about being your wife and a mother, and there's so many sacrifices you have to make, both financially, time. That's the thing about sport of bodybuilding, especially for you ladies. As I talk about my channel, it's expensive to be a competitor. Even if we hit the pro level, as your amateur, it's been a struggle because your cost of everything else. But hit the pro level, things should get better. But the fact is, it's still a bit of a struggle when you hit that next step.
Yeah, it is. It's like the more involved you get, the more expensive it gets. Even if you don't step on stage, just the supplements and the food cost a lot to eat enough to grow. So, and my husband's a bodybuilder too, and he's 6'6". So we spend quite a lot of money on food and supplements.
Yeah. And when do you and your husband, I forgot his name. When did y'all meet?
Walker. We met about 5 years ago, and I knew when I saw him, I was like, oh no.
He was big and tall, dark and handsome, oh yeah, say that's what she want. That's the man she got. Say, I got my man.
Yeah. And then when I met him and he was nice, I was like, oh, okay, okay. He's a great guy. Yeah, he's a great dad too. So that's
Yeah, that's good. Like especially your son have a father figure in his life. That's important for all boys. My mother, she was a single
yeah,
mother. She had to raise me, my brothers and sisters, plus two grandkids. My father, they were together. My father, like I said, I'm gonna keep saying, my mother and father were together for 55 years, but 30 he was spending in New Jersey. So and she was down here in North Carolina with us. And he passed away a long time ago. My mother passed away a couple years ago, and
sorry.
I appreciate that. And being watching her how to raise us, she really inspired me to become the person who I am. When I started on this a path, I was taking care of her, and then I get into this when I said, what, she left me, she's gone. So I started, what, I need something to kind of to give me a purpose, and that's why I
Yeah,
try to give you some you ladies like yourself, a voice to share to out there, because what, people get the idea mentality of female bodybuilders like, oh, these just chicks on steroids, yeah, and and also they don't think that this is a beautiful woman right here, folks. This is a very beautiful woman. Be smiles, just a beautiful Southern lady. Remember, she's a lady. And also, folks, I said this, her information description. You can check it out. But my rules. She has a cash app, so you want to donate, because these ladies can use any kind of assistance that you can get. But my rules, fellas. No D pics. She has a kid. She got a husband. Last thing he wants to see is that. He'd be like, "What? Who said this is my wife? Why did I fight for my love?"
oh, that's funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
It is. There's all kinds of people too. That's one thing I've learned on this journey. Is I mean, I love people. I'm a people person, and it's just so funny the different personalities you meet along the way. Great people, though. A lot of great people.
yeah, because it's just like this. There's a lot of people that have this ideology of how about you ladies, about what they think of you, and then once you get to, like I said, once you get to know y'all women and talk to you and have conversations, realize you're just women. You're athletes, you're mothers, you're business women, and you have much, you must be recognized, because like I said, you look at, say about the expense of being a bodybuilder, like it costs you more as a woman to compete because of hair, makeup, your posing suits, just not just stuff about the food and the supplements, all the stuff. It costs you a lot more.
Hmm.
And the guys on the other end, or as I call them, the banana hammocks, it'll cost them as much because they got to put on a banana hammock, a little spray tan, and that's it. But as a lady, you have to always look presentable.
Yeah, I think for men, the off season gets a little more expensive because it takes so much more for them to eat, to grow, and it takes so much more. I mean, their supplements usually they use more. So I will say that with them, and they do put a lot more on their bodies. I mean, and this is all. I know it depends, but generally speaking, I think men put a lot more on their bodies than women do, especially in the open. It's like those guys, if they stay in it for more than 10 years, I'm like, oh gosh, get out of there,
Mm-hmm.
because our heart doesn't know the difference between if we're carrying muscle or fat.
Very fat,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that, and that's the thing. That's the tough part about it. You have the divisions. It used to be just, as I've said again, how the women's division transition. So it has the men. It used to be just men's bodybuilding. Now you got 212. You have classic physique, and you have men's physique. And the men's physique, I did an interview with a lovely lady by the name of Susan K. How she said that the men's physique is men's bikini. That's what it really is. And if you break it
Mm,
down, men's
yeah.
classes like figure, and 212 is like physique, like your division.
Yeah, I kind
And
of see it like that too.
we
Yeah.
got here, my man James Huey says hi everyone. Hi James Huey, appreciate it. For coming through. Smash that like and support Miss Whitley here, Mrs. Whitley. And the thing is about the sport, it's steadily evolving. I just
Yes.
watched. I didn't watch it, but people keep me contact because there's so many ladies who I follow on here. We have good relationships, and I was just had the Toronto Pro yesterday,
Hmm.
and there were some people, the ladies were telling me that some women didn't look as good, or whatever, and it wasn't, even though it was a big show, it wasn't as a long lineup compared to some shows. Well, did you ever think? Yeah, did you ever think about doing that show, or you just say, I'm just gonna sit out and wait?
I definitely want to do a show at the end of the year. But after Pittsburgh, I realized that to be comfortable and confident on that stage next time, I need to add a little size. And I knew that going into it, but I just, for me, it takes a psychological toll on me. So just the dieting and just that ultimate just concentration on the show takes away from my son and my husband. And one thing I really like about you is you put such an emphasis on women with kids and wives and just how we have to juggle all that. So I sort of feel like sometimes I owe it to my son to wait a little bit before I go into another show. So I hadn't thought about doing that one, but I'm probably going to look at one probably in the fall.
Yeah, because that's why I say people got to recognize the fact is not all you ladies. Because everybody think that all female bodybuilders are just big steroid heads, barren, whatever like that. But good amount of you have children, have families. Like people who have become acquainted with, who have a husband, they have children. There's been some that came to the sport before they had kids. I remember back in the early days, there was like people like Diane Dennis. There was Krista Bach. There was Julie Miller. She was an NBC competitor. Also, Zeno King was the first mom Miss Olympia in history. Because she has a son. And then it's so many women like yourself and people like my dear friend Miss Tina S. Williams. Also, there's Jessica Martin, Margie V. Martin. I mean, there's many of you who are mothers, and you make a sacrifice. Because sometimes you might want to, your kids might have a birthday party, a pizza place, and then you have Chuck E. Cheese's, and and your little son, he's eating Chuck E. Cheese, and you're like, I got to eat this broccoli and rice, and your husband is like, he probably prepping, he's eating big meals, and you looking at you want to.
Oh yeah, well he doesn't get pleasure from food. He's like he could eat clean all the time, and of course that makes me just want to. I wish I had that, but I like food. I enjoy it, and to me the hormone changes close to a show when you get that lean. Even if I don't want to eat off plan, you just feel different. You feel kind of tense. And I know my son can feel that. And so, and he's got some special needs. So I've got to be present for him. So he always comes first. And if the show works out, that's just, beautiful. But
yeah, because I have followed you saying like how your son has special needs. And, I can understand that because I had a nephew. He was autistic. Me and my mother took care of him for like 2 or 3 years for his mother. When my mom got sick and his mother came and got him. And I remember I was watching one video where you were places where you're talking about how you deal with your son's issues and your issues. You're like, and that's wild, because that's a lot. Because you got to think about it. One day your son might be like, "Hey, ma, yeah," and you're hangry, and your husband say, "Hey, honey, you fact iron my clothes," and you're like, you just want to go like She-Hulk and just like grow 10 inches and like Hulk smash.
Yeah, and I'll say I've got a great support. My husband backs me up so hard. Like, I mean, he's a hands-on dad. He helps around the house. He works. I mean, so I always tell women, if you don't have that, I don't know how you do it, because I couldn't do it without him, just without having that support. And I've talked to some women who they don't have the supportive spouse, or maybe their spouse is just, not really into it. And my heart goes out to them because they love it so much. And so not having that support, I know has to be pretty hard.
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's a good thing when you have a man that stands by your side. A lot of people may not have that. I just seen an interview where a lady, she was married and her husband broke up. She was in a couple of relationships because some men can't take that ideology of their woman, getting muscles, getting building,
Right.
Some even just regular guys out there, the regular John Q. Public, who just sees like, okay, now you're kind of like on the lean side. Some guys might say, wow, you look healthy, you look fit. But then if you look at someone like who I'm thinking about, Andrea Shaw, or even in your division, Sarah Vilgas, those women they get stares, they look, and I tell like the thing is like people got to understand that you're an athlete. It's no different from if you're a baseball player, football player, you're an athlete.
Right.
But it's just that the fact is that bodybuilding is not considered a mainstream sport.
Right. People don't understand it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm learning a lot from doing my content. I was just like one of the fanboys, and just following you ladies, and just being a fan, and being a small perv, as I'm going to admit right now. And it's just the thing we get to learn that the fact is, it's a lot of you have to have a lot of dedication, passion, consistency. You can't, just days that you get up in the morning and say, what, I just want to lay in the bed, I don't want to go nowhere, but if you don't, it's just that you may not come in the best condition when I got a show coming up in a month. I want to be like stat and ready to go.
Yeah, you've got to love the process. Absolutely love the process, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And people like if they go against the grain, hate all of it just to step on stage. that won't last very long. To me, you have to love the art of it and the process of it. And what I want to say a lot of times to, typical people that are against it or that look down on women with muscles is, we're not doing it for you. We're doing it because we love it. We know that it doesn't look normal, but we don't care.
Yeah, you have to
We're the
love for it.
ones loving what we're doing.
Yeah. Here, my man James here. Miss Whitley, you look great.
Oh, thank you, James.
Yeah. And I appreciate you, man. My brother James Henry there. And yeah, that's the thing is, it's about you. You're doing it for yourself. It's not about what other people think. It shouldn't matter what other people think about how you present yourself, because you're here as an athlete. And one thing I talk about one thing about this sport is it should be more profitable for you competitors. As you know, you got to pay your pro card every year, and that's money out of your pocket. And then what you get out of it, hey, I got a pro card. It's not even laminated. But what should happen is that hey, I there's a conversation with this, how one thing should be is it should be like health and life insurance, pension, benefits,
awesome.
especially you have a child with special needs. That could help out you and your husband in the long run.
Right. It's like sponsorships are really the only way to go about getting that help. Because even the winnings, as you've seen for women especially, is so low.
Yeah,
Low.
It's crazy because a lady who just did a show a while back, Miss Eva Montgomery. She's a mother also. She's a trainer. She did the show in Vancouver, which is Vancouver Island Showdown. She got $1,000 for first place. Being she's the only female bodybuilder that show, $1,000. I know one lady who just competed show with Natalia Conejo, who just she's just done her, I think, a fourth show since the Olympia. We'll talk about that later. And then you look at the guys; they're walking away with $20,000-$30,000 checks, while you might be walking to like 3,500, 2,000. I mean, and that's
on a good day.
Yeah, on a good day, which it should be getting least. Okay, we all know the women not be the ones that might come see, but y'all keep the people in the seats. I would say for like first place should be at least $20,000. That will at least get you a little bit into the black instead of keeping you in the red.
Yeah, I like how you think. I would take that. I would take that in a heartbeat. And I think there is a lot of changes kind of happening with that. I know, like Sarah, she just sponsored the women's physique in Pittsburgh. If it hadn't been for her, I don't know if they'd even have had the show or had that division in that show. So I was really appreciative of that. She put up the money for the winning and just for everything, for that whole division. So people like her, if they keep showing up, I think things are going to keep changing.
I feel like Sarah might be the Linda Murray for y'all division.
Yeah,
Linda Murray,
Sarah.
Yeah, Linda, later she got two shows coming up, which is both in Georgia. She had a show in Norfolk, but now she's got two shows. And, that's a great thing. We have somebody like, as you know, just last year, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he tried the women with muscles are not that, we don't need them on the stage anymore. And, he did this like about 9 years ago. We walked quietly, like I'm going to quote a lot of sayings from the Chris Nolan Batman movies, because I'm addicted to that movie. I love that movie. He walked quietly behind your division and stabbed it in the heart. And he did it 9 years ago when he was bodybuilding. But recently I just saw that the over in England, the UK is going to bring back women's physique in the UK in the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. Yeah, I should see the thing of that because the deadline is tomorrow, so it might be a little too late. But yeah, that's the thing, is that people, bodybuilding for a long time has been putting a nail coffin for years. I would say like the best years for it was around about the 90s, when you had like one of the most popular shows that was at that time was American Gladiators, and it seemed like that show really, because you had people like Ray Holett, you had Shaylee Bailey, you had a couple other ladies who were either professional or pro amateur bodybuilders doing that show. And I think that gave it rebirth. But then I think in the 2000s, they did the weight classes, and then they took it and put Mr. Olympia along with Mr. Olympia, made the whole Olympia weekend. It used to be that you had to show separate from one another, but now they came together because I think save money like that. And just had a show. And they had the last two Olympics because the issues with the virus in Nevada. They had it in Orlando, And I think that
Right.
was close to North Carolina. Florida's not that good far away. I mean, we used to go to Disney World a couple of times, and that's a good drive. But yeah, it'd be a lot easier for a lot of competitors.
Yeah, and it was cracking me up watching that this year too, because they kept saying over and over, "This is the biggest stage we've ever had." They kept talking about that stage in Orlando. They're like, "This is the biggest stage we've ever had." So I think they actually really liked having it there.
hmm I think it was. I think he had a contract with somebody told me, and then I think once the contract was up, they didn't renew it, so they went back to
Um,
Vegas. Yeah, because
okay.
yeah, I went to Vegas because I was thinking about going, but somebody said we had to fly. I said I don't know, because they charged me though for a seat. So
How
yeah.
about this? When I go to the Olympia, you've got to go. Then you'll go. Give
Well,
me 3 years.
if I make that promise, I have to do this as one thing as one character, because I'm a man of my word.
I
That's
love that
so
you just had that.
yes, yes, yes. Because like right now I'm several characters. Right now I'm George MacArthur, just a regular guy. I'm always George Page, which is the Emperor of Bodybuilding Talk, Emperor of MMA Talk, Emperor of Wrestling Talk. Also there's my character, the Pervy Sage, and then there's the Joker. I'm like a dog, checking checking cars. I love dynamite and gasoline.
Oh my gosh, this is
I
great.
just, I love that he took that character, he ran with it. I just
Oh,
love
he did.
it. Yeah, he
That was
ran with it.
amazing.
Yeah, I hate that he had what happened to him afterwards, but he's just amazing. But here we got Jim here again. George, I always enjoy your live streams. I'm going to go early because I have chores to do. Yeah, appreciate you, brother, for coming through. Smash that like,
Hi,
share, comment.
James.
Yeah, bye. See you later, brother. Smash that like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out. We have a nice conversation with a lovely lady from my home state of North Carolina. And the thing is, like a while back, I got a friend, I got a guy who got acquainted with. His name's Glenn Young Sr. He just started his own magazine, which is called Amazon Fitness Magazine. He had was about a month ago. He had a release party, and I got to meet a couple ladies who did interviews with, and also women in the sport of bodybuilding. It was just me being a fan of bodybuilding for a long time. It was a great opportunity to meet ladies like yourself, a couple, at least three ladies who were physique pro competitors, two ladies who were amateur wellness, and also a lady who just interviewed also a while back. She lives in North Carolina. Her name is Carol Bennett. She is an amateur bodybuilder, and Amanda Snooks, who me and her have been friends on social media for a long time. We did an interview, and she's a amateur physique competitor. And to know that, you said again, um, to know that it's growing up. Because I remember back in the day, there was a show called the Jantana, and used to have it here in North Carolina. It was in Charlotte, so they had it in Charlotte, or they have it in Roanoke, Virginia. And and they did had Charlotte Pro a while back, but there's like one thing is about it, I don't follow as much because the fact is, my content is mostly about women's bodybuilding, but I'm getting to get into our division a little more. A lot of people, a lot of ladies I'm starting to follow. Like one person we just mentioned about Natalia Abraham Cornejo,
Hmm.
who already got a qualification for the Olympia, did 4 shows at the Olympia. I'm already
Yeah.
talking to people telling me, I got little birds telling me that she's going to do another show. And that's the thing. You feel like you already get your qualification. Why take an opportunity to somebody else?
I know there's definitely mixed opinions about that. I love Natalia. I think that I think she honors the sport. I think that she's been like part of the movement, I think. So I love that she's going and she's just taking on the trophies, because at the end of the day, it might, yeah, maybe someone else could have had that spot, but um, hey, get all more power to her, less competition, but I say more talent up on that stage. So, not to say that some girls won't get there, including myself, but I think it's kind of cool that she's doing this, because I think it's only going to be the top of the top up there this year. So I think it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, kind of
There might be three of them.
like the macho man just say, the cream of the crop. Sweet,
Yeah,
sweet to be sour. Yeah, oh yeah, boy. I'm a big wrestling fan. Being from the South, wrestling's a big thing around here.
it is.
Yeah, like Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that's the thing about just it's just those people who are into this sport, who enjoys it, who like going to the shows, watch you compete. And like I said again, we do have that end of the sport where it can be a bit of a fetish for
Yeah.
people. As I said, a lot of ladies have to make income. You have a job, you have a career, you have your holistic. You
Yeah,
know,
Whitley Holistics.
yeah, and like I said, explain that to us for us who are laymen who don't understand.
Oh, well, it's just taking bodybuilding from a holistic approach. So we put a lot of emphasis on like your mental health, where your stress levels are, which I mean, a lot of coaches do, but we just really put that high on the priority. So it's not just about writing like the meal and the training plan as much as it's also about just making sure that your whole state of being is basically in alignment to be able to do this process. So I know it sounds a little heady, but it's how I do it. So it's how I show others how to do it too.
Yeah, that's a good thing that you have that. It's a good background because something you can fall back on when you say, you know what, I am done. I'm going to go ahead and move on. And here, folks, we got a picture here with her and Natalia. Wow.
Oh,
you know,
which one? Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can see
'Cause,
the height difference.
yeah,
It's so funny because I like kind of hate on the short ones. Not that Natalia is one of the really short ones, but
mhm.
I'm one of the tall ones. So I'm like, it's going to take me a little longer to get this density, but
How
I'm going to do
tall?
it.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
Oh, yeah, that's pretty tall especially for a woman. I think one thing. There's one thing about why because your husband's 6'6", so that's pretty good because he's
Yeah.
that's good for him because you won't have to tire too many. I think the average height for a male like maybe 5'7", maybe 5'8", and that's good that that's one thing I learned through my time that usually the shorter women who can really pack on the muscle
Mhm.
like if you look at somebody like Alicia Young is 5'3", and she can really, yeah, she can really pack on the muscle, and then she has the, and it's just, it's just with taller women when your limbs are much longer, it just seems like it's just you have a lot more space
Yeah,
for
exactly.
yeah, and with the shorter women, it's just like after a certain amount of time, say what, there's not a room, so we're just gonna pop up here and pop up everywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like instead of having like this amount of space, you have this amount of space to like fill up. So yeah, it can be tricky.
Yeah, especially with your arms and legs a lot longer. So it take a lot longer for y'all to put on the definition. I remember there was a lady back in the day, the late Nicole Bass. You remember her?
Yeah.
She was like about 6'2", and it took her a long time to get to a level where she was, when she finally got a pro, she was really pretty good. She only did that one pro show, I think a couple pro shows, and then she retired, and we know she passed away years ago. And that it's a lot harder for like any woman that's if you. I think the thing is if you can stay within anything around between 5'4" to 5'5", you can really put on some muscle. But once you get past that to 5'6" to 5'7", it's a lot difficult.
It is. And to be honest, that's my passion is working with women that tend to be a little lean by nature, even if they are a little shorter, but just ones that have a hard time putting on muscle, or either ones that are tall, that it just takes time and a lot of strategy. I really have a passion for that because obviously I've been there. So that's one of my pet peeves, is when people say, "Oh, you're just genetically gifted," or "Oh, you're blessed." I'm like, no, this is hard work.
It's like back in the day, like remember Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, like I'm a genetic freak,
Yeah, yeah, I wish. But I will. I mean, I don't have bad ones. I know they help, but yeah, it's been a
That's
lot of work.
And that's the important thing about this sport. Genetics also is a good factor, but I think, like I said, one of my favorite anime cartoons is Naruto, and there's a part where Rock Lee says about how someone who hard work versus genetically giftedness people, and
Yeah.
if I think sometimes the people who put in hard work really does do pretty good. They surpass the ones that are genetic gifted,
Mm-hmm.
and they just get because they had that determination. Because
Yeah.
I'm a big comic fan, so I'm wearing my Black Panther shirt today. And one of my
Nice.
favorite superheroes is Batman. And what separates Batman from all the others, even though he don't have no powers, he can't fly, he's just this rich guy. But what he has was his determination.
I
And
love that.
that what made him what he is. He was determined. Do what he do. I mean, it's just that's what makes him one of the great. Like if you look at that, the Superman, Batman, the two sides of the same coin. Superman is this super powerful being who just wants to be, like any other person. But while Batman wants to be more than just just a regular human being. You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about Natalia. If you look at her photos from when she first started, I don't think she has genetics on her side. I'm not saying she doesn't have good ones, but for bodybuilding specifically, I feel like she's done amazing with what she started with. Like, have you ever seen her, the one she started? She was about 18.
I think I seen some pictures of her when she was doing figure originally.
Yeah,
And
yes.
then she transitioned like so many other women who had transitioned from figure to physique, like Shanique Grant, who started out in figure for a long time when she was about the same age as Natalia, and then went up to and then become a 2-time Miss Olympia. Now Natalia's chasing out that title. I don't know. Sarah's is going to be tough to beat because I think Sarah was what they want to get back to, like Daleen Bailey. Like, was the last month Daleen Bailey just had a birthday. She was the first woman who, and you want to get back to that. But the problem is, like any sport, it's evolving and progressing. Was it just, as I said again, Arnold pushed y'all women out from physique, from the classic. But I was watching some videos from, like a backstage videos from that show, and I'll see people like Missy Trescott, Jessica Reyes Padilla, Ariel Kadir, and also An Jung. And if you look at it, you wouldn't think that was fitness and figure. You would think that was all physique. And even that is because physique was supposed to come in to be the more softer, feminine look to women's bodybuilding. But those women are getting I follow Jessica Padilla. And I'm telling you, she's getting to the point where I know she did an interview while back when she was at. I remember you were both at the Puerto Rico Pro. Yeah, and she was doing an interview with Alina Polpa, and Alina asked her, "Would you consider going to physique?" And where she's looking, she's not that far from there. I know people telling me like there's so much different variance about these two divisions, but from my mindset being I'm just a layman, as I said again, it looks like they could just switch. They could just kick off the high heels and jump in the physique stage.
Well, that's when I went pro in physique and figure, the same show. Like you said, I just kicked my heels off, competed in both, and that happened. So that's definitely a thing. Like, and I think as the sport evolves, the women get bigger, they get more conditioned and more conditioned. I love that classic like 90s look of women's physique. I think that's beautiful. And I know, it's just a time thing. It's like we're continuing to compete against each other. We're continuing to bring a bigger look, a more conditioned look. So it is hard as the sport evolves, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing is people got to understand that anything is evolving. If you look back in the day, like you go back to the day of football, how it started out. Then look at the guys now. You go back to the day like guys like Babe Ruth. You look at guys like Big Papi and the other guys. It's just changing. Like remember when you saw guys like Dr. J to Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant to LeBron James. It's just every sport is evolving. And it tried to stifle it by they created a division to be an alternative for women in bodybuilding. As I'm quoting this again, you have to be walk quiet behind female bodybuilding and stab in the heart when they dropped it, and then they push your division. But now your division sounds like it's getting that same push. Like the All Sport didn't have it. Then there was a show that had the Boston Pro didn't have it. There's some shows that don't have your division much anymore, but you still have more stages compared to women's bodybuilding. And Sarah Vigors, what she did, I know Sarah said that she wanted to give some money to try to bring it back to the Arnold, but so for some reason, I mean, it's not like it's coming out of your pocket, Arnold. Why can't you just do it?
Yeah, I know. I don't know where she gets all that money from, but she needs to give me some of that. taking private jets to the Olympia and sponsoring shows. I'm like, okay.
I think her husband might be rich or something, or she got some big sponsors.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they have a really good coaching business.
I think that's probably it too. Yeah, I can use some money. I'm broke. I just got my first of the month check, and I'm already halfway through it. And I said, man, I got to squeeze $1. I got to squeeze $1. I used to have plenty of jobs. I used to work 2 jobs. I used to work in a textile plant. I used to work with a lot of women. I used to work in a gas station. I was a sock boy, cashier, general manager by the time this place closed down. Also had a job where I used to work in a gentleman club. And it's just about work and trying to keep yourself going. And like I said again, how you have a job, you have responsibilities. And a lot of women in this sport, they have jobs, but the thing is, they have to find a way to circumvent, cash. If you're lucky, you get a sponsor. That's one thing. But a lot of these ladies have to do ways to make money. As you know, this is pretty much as a fetish for some guys because you break down the fan base for women bodybuilding in general, counting it's going to be mostly men. While
Mm.
with the men, their fan base is going to be a little bit broader. You'll have guys who are fan of you. You will have guys who are come say come sa who's fans, and you will have women. And some of the ladies who I've become friendly with, they do things like OnlyFans. They do sessions. They do this, or they do as I call them. Excuse my language. The beat the meat websites. It's a
Yeah.
way to make money. You got to understand that. If one thing with, like I said again, like IPC, NPC, and the IFBB should do is because you are the product for their shows, it should be more profitable for y'all. And
Right.
sponsors should be, hey, you know what? Like especially yourself, you're attractive young woman. You're a mother. You're a businesswoman. I would be if I had the means of way. I'd be happy to sponsor someone like you and put you up so you wouldn't have to dig in your pocket so much, and your husband don't have to say, you know what, honey, I might have to put the car and the house on a third or fourth loan.
Right, right. And that it is so true. There's that whole underground scene of the fetishes and stuff. I've been approached by multiple people, even people that want to like manage me for doing that. And it's what it comes down to for me is when I get to the Olympia, I don't want people Googling my name and me coming up on these fetish websites. I just think I'm better. And I think with the women, and I'm not, to each his own, her own. But I think the women that do it, um, if I were to do that, it would be because I didn't believe that I could coach people or that I didn't believe I could offer something else to the sport, but I know I can. And so, like I said, to each his own. And I've just chosen not to go down that route. I really love, especially I've got a son. I've got people looking up to me. So, and that stuff gets,
I'll
but
take it.
anyway,
Because I know I had a lady who I just interviewed. She's a mother. She has 5 kids. And she's because she's a little older. Kids are grown. But last thing you want to do is say, "Hey, what's your son's name again?"
Tristan.
Tristan saying, Tristan, I saw your mom on
Right.
Pornhub. Like, yeah, nah, you don't want to hear that. No,
Never.
no, you
Mm-mm.
don't want to hear that. But
I'm
to
a
each their, like,
professional. I'm a
mm,
professional. Yeah.
oh, you're a professional.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be on a
No,
fetish
no.
website.
So you're like a professional. No women, no kids.
Do it
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Here we got here a man. KLA. Don't go against nature. I like Miss Whitley's IG. Mrs. Whitley. KLA. IG pics. Very impressive physique. Oh yeah,
Thank
he's a
you.
fan. You just get a fan. He follows me on social media. He does videos and stuff like that. Knowing him, he's gonna make a video about you. He, he's gonna make it,
Hey, I'm
it's
up for it.
it's gonna be like little slides like I do, but he does put music stuff back with. And that's
Oh,
yeah, and like I said, it's to each your own, but
mhm.
you got to do what you got to do. But like I said, again, you are a mother. You have to be responsible. You have people that look up to you. You have family. You have friends. Your
Mhm.
husband. The last thing your husband want to do is like, hey Walker, man, your wife she's one fine woman.
Right, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
we definitely create our own realities. Like we create our world. So I'm trying to create a nice, clean one for myself.
yeah, yeah, folks. This is an amazing lady. You should check her out. Like I said, she's on IG. She's on social media. If you are in her area and you're interested about taking lessons and doing holistic training, reach out to her. And
And I
also
do virtual. I'm pretty much 100% virtual.
virtual. Yeah, because I think after the pandemic, it kind of changed everything.
Yeah.
Because one thing is like things that change society is wars and diseases because when they happen, it seems like everything has to be rebooted and everything. People know we'll go back to normal. No, it's going to be the new normal because
Mhm.
your social distancing. Like my mother, she caught the virus. That's what got her sick and passed away. And
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was my woman. She was my woman. We lived together for a long time. And I remember somebody told me, he said, George, you live with your mama, right? So yeah, I live with my mom. He said, go out, you got to do with your man, but always come home to mama. And I know your son, he's a mama's boy. We all no, there's no man's world. Even your husband is a mama's boy. We
mhm.
love we love our mamas because they're the
Yeah.
ones when you're born, your mother's your first true love. You can have a wife, you can have another girlfriend, but like I said, as men, we love our mothers because we stand by them. And I know Tristan, he loves you because I know sometimes he can be a pain, he
Mhm.
can be a problem, but you know what? You're his mama, and if anything, he always knows he can go to you. We got man KLA. Don't go against nature. That's cool. She doesn't want to go that route on the fetish department because it could be detrimental on the reputation. That's good. Because I know a lot of people. It's just a way to make money, but people got to understand that. But the fact is, she's a lady who has responsibilities, things she got to need to take care of, a husband, a kid. She has a career, and she's a Southern lady, so you got to be respect a Southern lady. And like usually this time, I usually watch Girl Smoke, so I'm gonna do my best to haggis, and she's still a party woman.
And it's once you go to that, I don't think you can go back. Once you put yourself out there like that, there's really no going back either. So
yeah, you can never go back because once it's out there, like I know a while back, I know a lady, she's from South Carolina. She's also a mother, she's a wife. She's a competitive bodybuilder. And she told me how when she did some photo sessions, she found her photos on Pornhub. And I said, wow. And this was like, you gotta be careful because one thing is like, one thing ladies should do is always try to copyright yourself, like a business, because that was cause if somebody puts your stuff out there, because once you ladies do like I know a lot of you ladies do the photo sessions after the shows because it's a way to make money. Because a dear friend told me that how when she did shows, she do the photo sessions is a way to make money. That becomes the property of the photographer. And sometimes if the right photographer, they'll put it on their websites, they put it on their pages. But some guys where money talks and bullshit walks, excuse my language, they are easy to sell. Put it and just because that's the thing is you taking a risk depending on who you're working with.
Right.
Yeah, we got here my man KLA. Again, George put me out there. Yeah, brother, because I remember I just did a interview with a lady by the name of Capucine LeConte, and he did a video for her, and I sent the Capucine, and she was really appreciative because he wanted, did I did it? Said, nah, that's not me. That's my man KLA. And we appreciate any of y'all who support these ladies in support of bodybuilding, who are wives, mothers, business women. Give them all a lot of respect because the fact is it's a tough job. You got to get up in the morning, you got to get him ready for school. You got to, fix your husband dinner and say, honey, where's my dinner? And you got to, there's so much, you got to go to the gym, you got to train people, train yourself. And, would you ever consider, opening your own gym and, becoming your own boss?
Well, I am my own boss. Oh. Yeah, I have my own company, the Whitley Holistics. Yeah, that's all my income. So yeah, but I don't think I'm going to open a gym. It's a lot of money and it's a lot. I've talked to some gym owners, and it's fun for a while, and they say it gets old quick. So I don't know if I have really the desire to open a gym, but I wouldn't write it completely off though. Yeah, but I love what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, it's good that you're doing 100% online. I know a lot of ladies who I talk to. Some they even don't have their own trainers. They do it like via online and and through Zoom or something like that. And that's a way where, as I said, trainers can say, I can focus on this person. I don't have to run here, I don't run there. I just come on and say, hey, boom, boom, we're gonna have a big Zoom. We're gonna all talk together, and and people that really appreciate that because especially with people who have jobs. Sometimes they also have families, don't have time, and you say like, what? If I can fit you in for just maybe 30 minutes out of my day, that really helps out.
Yeah, and I mean, I think COVID really changed the landscape of everything too, and now everyone's a little more comfortable going virtual, so it's kind of all worked well. Not saying COVID's a good thing, but but considering, I'm grateful for Whitley Holistics and just for what I've built.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said again, that wars and diseases change the platforms of words. So, folks, we're not gonna hold it too long because I know she, her son's already out of school. Where is he? Where is Tristan?
He's actually in camp right now. So I've got a little over an hour to lift, and then I'm gonna go run over and get him.
Well, that's good. Well, we won't hold you too long because your little man's waiting for you. So you want to say, "Mom, where's my mom?" And say like, we said, "Oh my God." I said, honey, I'm gonna be late.
That's right.
Yeah, but we're not gonna hold too long. We do appreciate her time. We got here KL A. I need to be my own boss because working for somebody or a corporation sucks. Yeah. I worked for a long time for different people. I don't work anymore. I do. Only thing I miss about work is the people I work with. That's true for the only thing I miss with. Not the job so much, but the people I work with. Because we talk, we had good conversation. I work with a lot of women, and and that's the thing why I do. That's why I dedicate a good part of my channel to being raised by a single mother working with women, between working with women in textiles, working with women in a strip club. I used to know guys tell me, "Man, you work in a strip club, man. You with all those girls. You want?" No, dude. No matter what, a woman with a clothes on, clothes off is going to be a headache, especially if the girl's not, especially not making money. Because if they're not making money and they're having a tough time, you're like, they'll sit down and say, "Joe, it's not making no money." I said, "Well, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm making my money by the hour. You're making your money by production or by the next lap dance." You can laugh loudly. But like I said, folks, we like to appreciate her time and her sharing her story with us. And it's just that you got, like I said again, what you went through in your life between your addiction, raising your son, being competitive. I mean, that this is something that I think people need to know about. The sacrifices and the stuff you go through, the hoops you have to jump
Right.
as being a competitor, being a wife, being a mother, being a businesswoman. People got to understand that it's not just easy. It's just not like just pumping a few weights and just jumping on stage in a bikini. It's about
Right.
dedication, consistency, and
Consistency. Yeah.
yeah, and people got to understand that because respect that. One thing, would you change if you could change the sport? What would you love to see change?
I've never been given that question. Let me think for a second.
Should I give you the hard ones?
Yeah. I think you touched on a good thing, being compensated for it a little bit more. I think also maybe opening some more divisions so some more people can compete. I think there's a lot of people that try to squeeze their bodies into certain divisions. So I think there might be room for a couple more. But overall, I love it. I think they've done a great job with it.
Yeah, because I
Um,
know lady who competed against my dear friend Daphne Carter, she's switching over from physique to wellness.
oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, and that's the division for women who just have the right genetics or may not,
Yeah.
it fits for them. And one thing I was talking about with a friend of mine, one thing should happen is, I think figure should be cut out and called physique, and physique should be moved up and be called women's lightweight division, right,
Oh,
lightweight class. Because the fact is, if you're looking at women now, you just saw, Natalia looking at just Jay Lee Hyde, who just won the Toronto show yesterday. A couple other ladies who just, who looking are just they're they're just developing, and also that you get women who are shorter. I think it could be like a short class also. But if you look at the figure competitors, I think figure should be called physique, and physique should be called the lightweight class in Women's Open. That's just my thought of it. Because, like I said, well, I'm seeing it's changing. We got
mm,
here, just come in late, brother. Omar Costa, another pretty. Oh, yeah,
oh,
beauty, another beauty. I
thanks,
mean,
Omar.
yeah, you're welcome. He comes in quite a bit. He used to speak Spanish. Like, hey, hey, brother, speak English for us. 'Cause my Spanish is poquito, poquito,
Yeah.
poquito, mucho poquito. But like I say, folks, we appreciate Mrs. Whitley for coming through, sharing her story, telling us her thoughts and the progression of the sport of bodybuilding. Folks, as I said again, her information in the description. Check out, reach out to her if you're interested in holistic training. She does completely 100% online. Also, she has a cash app if you want to donate to her for any upcoming shows. These ladies can use donations. If you are a sponsor who is seriously want to sponsor a competitor, be serious. Don't be one of these guys who saying, "You know what, Whitley, you're a pretty lady," and no, don't do that. Don't do that. And also, as my rules again, fellas, my rules. No defense. She has a kid. She has a husband. Be respectful. I know you guys. You see a pretty woman like this, you get excited. But hey, that's why you got you got a you can do that stuff online, but don't see because that's borderline sexual harassment. And last thing is her kid and her husband want to see that stuff. Anyway, you have anybody you want to shout out to while you're here before we go?
I don't think so. Just thanks for having me.
Uh huh.
I've had a good time. Thank you.
Well, that's the thing. I want you ladies to feel comfortable. I don't want I don't do pre-answer questions because I want you to have fun and feel comfortable. So you can relax. So don't want to say, and you know what? We say thank you. You don't have to thank me because as I said again, I'm gonna quote my favorite movie. I know KL, you're not gonna like this. Batman Begins at the end of the movie when Jim Gordon says to Batman, "I forgot to thank you," and Batman turned around and said, "You never have to."
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate it then.
Well, I appreciate you and your time. Well, folks, again, check her out, follow her, reach out to her. She's on IG. She has a YouTube channel. She's on TikTok. She has Cashapp, everything. But like I said, you know my rule, you sick freaks. Just small purrs. Be respectful. This is a Southern lady. This is a woman from my home state. If I hear any problem, we will have a problem. And I don't want her husband to be going down the street and I say, who see my wife this? Who see my wife this? And we guys be like, yo, George, some guy got beat up. Say, oh my God, that's on him.
I know, I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, what kind of audience do we have here? I've never gotten those kind of pics, but I hope I don't start.
Yeah, I hope they don't start. Please don't start. But that's the warning I tell some guys out there, because there's some guys who just you said there's characters out there.
Oh yeah.
So like I said, folks, I like to thank my brothers for coming through. My man Balls Deep, my man James Henry, my brother KLA, Don't Go Against Nature, my brother Omar Costa, who just came in late. You can watch this on later. Watch it, enjoy this lovely lady and her lovely time. And maybe someday, yes, if you ever go to Olympia, as I said again, you go, I'm a man of my word.
Okay. When I go. Yeah.
When you go. No, don't say when you go. Yeah, when you go. Yes, when you go. Because some say if I go, but that's
when you go.
When you go. Be confident, be certain. Be like, yeah, I'm going.
Yeah. Oh, it's happening. It's just a matter of when, but it's happening.
It's about time. It's about time and just be in the right place in the right time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, George.
All right. Anyway, folks, it's me always George Page, aka the Emperor Field Bodybuilder. Like thank again, Mrs. Whitley Aubrey for her time. Like, subscribe. Don't like, subscribe. We're out.